this view and the shed.
Turkey's sunken treasures.
It's a wonderland down there.
The tragic and beautiful life of a loggerhead turtle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're hatching.
That's hatching.
There's so many.
Mike, this wasn't
Part of the plan.
And a beginner's guide to Day of the Dead.
This morning when I woke up, I didn't think I was going to be in the Day of the Dead parade in Mexico City, but I guess it kind of proves if you just act like you know what you're doing, anything can happen.
Turkey's Aegean coast. It's where you'll find some of history's big hitters, ancient and evocative ruined settlements like Pergamon and Troy. And also here, the Greek city of Ephesus, which has been beautifully restored.
Here it is, the Library of Celsus. It was the third largest in the ancient world, and the reading room had over 15,000 documents in it. It might look beautiful now, but into the 1970s, it was just a pile of rubble. But it's looking pretty good, right?
We're hardly off the beaten track here. You may well recognize the names of some of the local towns. Bodrum and Marmaris are now as well known for their holiday resorts as they are for their classical heritage. This is Kushadasi, a little farther up the coast, a package destination popular with Northern Europeans. These days, its star attraction lies at the bottom of the sea.
In 2016, authorities sunk a giant Airbus jet just out here in the bay. They said it would attract divers and crucially act as an artificial reef to house the wondrous marine life that lives here in the water. We're here 3 years later to see if it actually worked.
The project here was the first time a plane that big had been sunk for tourism purposes. But just this year, there have been a succession of similar ideas. Off Turkey's northwest coast, an even bigger Airbus was lowered to a depth of 30 meters in June. Bahrain submerged a Boeing 747 as part of wider plans to create an enormous underwater theme park. And in Jordan, in the Red Sea near Aqaba, they've installed a military museum comprising tanks, troop carriers, and a helicopter, all in battle formation.
Oh, yes, please, ice cream.
Barish was one of the masterminds behind the plans here in Kushadasi.
How are you? You want to eat?
I'd love one. What flavors?
It was a complicated undertaking, which began when the plane was split into 5 parts and driven here from Istanbul.
Why did you choose this specific spot in this giant coastline?
Çünkü burayı seçmemizin sebebi öncelikle dip yapısından kaynaklanan dip yapısı biraz orası çöl gibi olduğu için yani kuru hiçbir şey yok, Poseidon otlar yok. Bu bölgeyi yapay resif olarak canlandırmak için böyle bir yer seçimi oldu.
You probably can't just sink an airplane without preparing it first, right?
Ondan sonra bu yer seçiminden sonra uçağın montajından önce bütün zararlı maddeleri, koltukları vesaire hepsi çıkartıldı. Kabloları, içindeki kablolar çıkartıldı, boya maddeleri çıkartıldı.
Hey guys, which one of you is Tomasz?
Here is Tamas.
Yeah?
How are you?
Good, we've got a dive to do, yeah?
Yes.
Here we go then. The wreck's really close to the bay. The journey just takes a few minutes. Tumek here, who's my guide, does it regularly. In fact, he was also involved in getting it out to its final resting place.
And over those years, have you seen the plane change?
In 4 years, marine life is get very rich here. We have many sea brain, sea bass around the plane, and there is a turtle sometimes we see around the plane.
And so in this big, vast ocean, why would fish come to live at the plane?
Because it is protection for them, like a house. And there is no dangerous things for their living there because it's clean, all clean. 1, 2, and 3.
It's 18 meters down from the surface, and immediately I can see some of the changes I came here looking for. Little sponges and coral are appearing on the side, and schools of fish glide gently past. The sea currents have wrenched one of the wings free from the plane, providing more tempting nooks in which sea creatures can hide. But its former life hasn't been totally obliterated. There's just enough left to let you live out a few of your childhood dreams.
It's a wonderland down there.
Yes, very good.
There's quite a lot of fish,
Yes, it is many fishes.
especially inside and underneath the wing.
Yes,
And what do you think the future is?
the future will be very nice because it's already 4 years past and many fishes start to live into the airplane. Under the wing there are many marine life. Inside of the cabin there are many marine life, sea bass, sea brain.
Well, it was beautiful the way the light came in the windows, how there was fish, but there was also corals and clams and a lot of animals growing on the hull of the ship itself.
Yes,
I haven't seen anything like that before. That was beautiful.
thank you.
Awesome dive.
Good diving.
Yeah. And if Turkey's on your list in the near future, here's some things we think you should see and do.
It's still not too late to catch the Istanbul Biennial, which doesn't end until November 10th. The theme this year is the seventh continent, named after the vast island of floating rubbish that's also known as the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. The festival aims to reflect on the impact of human activities on the planet, and you'll find it in 3 key locations around the city. The most attention-grabbing being Buyukur, one of the pretty Princess Islands, about an hour's ferry ride from Istanbul. Sumeler Monastery, not far from Trabzon in the northeast, has just reopened after 4 years of restoration work. It's a stunning Greek Orthodox site set into the folds of a cliff in the Pontic Mountains. The 1 kilometer hike up from the car park may be hard work, but now the ferocity of Turkey's summer has subsided. You'll not be too exhausted to enjoy the stunning views from the top. And recent years have seen the Eastern Express become Turkey's most talked about train route. It takes about 25 hours to get from Ankara to Kars in the snowy northeast. Extra capacity's been laid on since it became a social media hit just a couple years ago. Once you're at your destination, you'll find natural beauty and interesting local food. We recommend the Goose, but the highlight is the stunning and remote ruined town of Ani.
Still to come.
From strawberry fields to the forest in a stadium, our guide to the very best travel stories happening right now. And I meet the woman who, at 96 years old, is still protecting Turkey's marine life.
So don't go away.
This week, we're exploring Turkey's west coast. I'm still in the holiday town of Kuşadası. And before we head off, I just wanted to go out and see this particular landmark.
Walking around in Kuşadası, you can't help but notice that one of the hilltops is covered in a rainbow. These are the rainbow houses, and we thought we'd take a look.
More than 400 of the homes here in Tipe neighborhood were colorized last year as part of a project run by a paint company. It looks great from a distance, but it's also lots of fun close up.
Whoa! High five! High five!
The aim was that it would make Tipe a much more livable environment. These homes had been earmarked for demolition.
Buralar boyanmadan önce çok kötü gözüküyordu. Bayağı bir tadilat yaptılar. Mesela renkler hep içimizi açtı. Daha ferah oldu. Bizi gururlandırıyor yani. Hem yabancısı olsun hem Türk'ü olsun. Yani her dinden insanlar burayı gezmeye, dolaşmayı, görmeye geliyorlar. Çünkü biz çok mutluyuz. Ya inşallah her zaman böyle güzel ve temiz gider.
Welcome to your rundown of some of the biggest travel news, stories, and events happening online and in the world right now. Here's our guide to some of the best.
Although it's over 52 years since the Fab Four first sang Strawberry Fields Forever, now the actual strawberry fields are open again, hopefully forever. The Liverpool gardens immortalized in the Beatles song have lain derelict and abandoned for 70 years, but have now been reopened along with a new visitor center, cafe, and shop, meaning that you can now finally step inside those famous gates and relive a piece of pop music history.
My brother John would be very interested in the Strawberry Fields project being reopened. I think he might want another wander around the gardens and looking at the plans and seeing what's going on. Yeah, I think he would be interested.
Here's a timely reminder to behave yourself if you're thinking of heading to Venice. 2 Czech tourists have recently been fined 3,000 euros each for obscene acts when they were caught skinny dipping in the canal near Piazza San Marco. And back in July, 2 German backpackers got hit with a fine for almost 1,000 euros for brewing coffee on a camping stove at the foot of the Rialto Bridge. The moral of the story, make sure you respect Venice or you could end up going home a lot poorer than when you arrived. If you're looking for a spectator sport with a difference, a stadium in Klagenfurt, Austria is now home to the largest public installation to ever happen in the country. For the Forest aims to get people thinking about the forest and nature and how to do better by them, and runs until the end of October when the football team moves back in.
What we do now is that we take something from daily life and we put it in a new context. And that means that when the people come in here, that what I think that will happen, that they will have a completely new view.
And the UN has awarded Costa Rica the 2019 Champions of the Earth Award, the organization's highest environmental honor. The country has been given the award for showing that sustainability is achievable and economically viable. 98% of its energy comes from renewable energy sources, and back in 2017, it made headlines by running solely on renewables for 300 days. Well, while the trick-or-treaters around the world are gearing up to mark Halloween at the end of this month, in Mexico and South America, they're getting ready for Day of the Dead celebrations, which start at the beginning of November. Whereas Halloween is a dark night focusing on horror and mischief, Dia de los Muertos festivities are best summed up as a macabre but colorful, life-affirming celebration. In my opinion, perhaps the best place to see the whole thing unfolds in Mexico City, where I joined the party back in 2016.
This morning when I woke up, I didn't think I was going to be in the Day of the Dead parade in Mexico City, but I guess it kind of proves if you just act like you know what you're doing, anything can happen.
The Day of the Dead traces its roots back to some 3,000 years to the rituals honoring those who'd passed away in pre-Columbian Mesoamerica.
Don't forget to share all your adventures and stories with us on social media. We're at BBC Travel Show on all the main sites. And who knows, maybe next time, you can be trending in travel.
I've moved a few hours down the coast to the Mueller region, to the junction of the Aegean and Mediterranean seas.
Welcome to İztuzu Beach here, just a few kilometers away from the sleepy little beach town of Dalyan here in Turkey. 30 years ago, no one really knew about the beach, but 30 years ago, they also weren't paying much attention to what was happening underneath the sands.
This is one of the most important nesting sites for Europe's population of endangered loggerhead turtles. Every summer, thousands of hatchlings push their way up onto the beach and crawl down into the ocean. That's still the case largely because of the work of this woman. June Haymoff, who's now 96, stopped a hotel development in the late 80s that would have spelled total destruction for the breeding grounds. She's devoted the last 3 decades of her life to the turtles, winning Turkish citizenship and an MBE along the way.
The government had a plan to develop this for tourism, and it included, not only included, a vital part of it was a road down the middle of the beach. I spoke up, said, please don't put a road, and I was helped. I didn't do it alone. Some said I was mad, others said I was a spy.
Spy?
A spy for Greece. It's true. It sounds funny to us, but that was actually written in a newspaper at that time.
And what's happening here now? What's the situation like?
Very good. The government here respects and knows about this beach. It's under protection. No one can come here at night and start flashing lights around and looking for the turtles or digging up nests, because there would be curious people who would like to do that.
But it would take a lot of fire in your heart to put all that energy and time into saving these turtles.
I do have some fire in my heart.
I can tell.
I've still got it.
I can tell. Well, I think if turtles could erect statues, there'd be one of you just right over there, right off the coast, built by loggerhead turtles.
It's interesting what you say, because in the village, they planned some kind of an edifice to me, I think, in Dalian village. I said I'd rather have it at the beach if they do one. And could they please, you know, not make it too big or grand.
Not you riding a turtle or anything like that. Because that's not allowed.
Well, actually, now that you mention it, that wouldn't displease me. No. These are pictures, yes, from the old days on the beach.
June's become known as Captain June here by the locals. She set up a foundation that's paved the way for others to make this stretch of coastline an important part of Turkey's conservation scene.
And about 10 years ago, just a few minutes walk from June's hut down the road, they opened this facility. The locals call it a turtle hospital because the sick and injured turtles are brought here for rehabilitation and hopefully release if things go well. Ooh. What happened here? Ouch.
So boat crash, unfortunately. So can you see the wound?
Yeah.
It has a big wound, and I can show you the rest.
Wow.
The rest of the shell is okay, but the wound is too big. Unfortunately, boat crashed on this side and break
The
all
propeller
down.
just cut.
Probably.
New arrivals come from all over this stretch of coastline, chiefly loggerheads and green turtles. For many, like this guy being patched up with beeswax, it's the same old story. In a fight between a shell and a boat propeller, there's only ever one winner.
That looks like it's a really deep wound. So was it much worse when the turtle first arrived?
Yeah, it was worse. It is an important and a deep injury still, I can say. But when it came first, we could see the intestine. Yeah, inside. Our veterinary will put some cream, which is antibacterial. And then we use the beeswax to close
seal
the
shell,
yeah, so it is good for infection again. You first? Yeah.
Something like this?
Yeah.
As night falls, I'm offered scrubs and a rare insight into a turtle post-mortem.
And away we go.
Just on the table.
This one's been dead for 20 days. The team here are looking for the cause.
So the necropsy has begun, and I know plastic pollution is something we talk a lot about these days. How often do you find plastic in the gastrointestinal tract?
And we found 35–40%, unfortunately. It's a general marine litter, not only plastic, but most of it was plastic. 35–40 is a big number, so that shows us the turtles are in danger.
But happily, however this one died, it appears ocean litter was not to blame.
Fazler, when the team doesn't find a cause of death, how does it make everyone feel?
If we don't find any plastic, which is good for us, then we feel happy the turtle didn't need any plastic. But if we don't know why that's, of course it feels us a bit weird, because we're curious and we're thinking on maybe the turtle might drown in the sea. That might be because of a fishing set.
A stray fisherman's net.
Or maybe there was an infection, but we didn't see it, unfortunately. Of course, we want to know.
With a little
But-
smile because there's no plastic.
Yeah, sure.
But let's not forget why we're here. The turtles under Istusu Beach.
The beach itself actually closes at 8 p.m. to the public, but we've been given special permission by the authorities to join the team here tonight to uncover some nests. We have to keep some precautions in mind. No bright lights, only these red ones which are invisible to turtles' eyes, and we have to be a little bit quiet. So let's continue and sip it. This is a real privilege. Vulnerable nests have cages put around them to protect them from foxes. It doesn't take long for the volunteers to find one that's recently hatched. We have one empty turtle egg.
Yeah.
That one probably hatched and left. Eggshells are counted, and there's a thorough search for any casualties. And then, just a few more yards along, one of the volunteers disturbs a fox, sniffing around another cage. Oh, and there's actually,
Okay.
you can see babies moving inside.
Oh, yeah!
Yeah, they're hatching.
That's hatching! Whoa! What a lot! There's a lot! Wow!
Wow.
All right.
There's so many.
Yeah, Mike, this wasn't...
Wasn't part of the plan.
No, because folks dig it, the babies are just walking up.
Uh-huh. Put me back inside. It's scary out here. Be safe, little guys. Watch out for big fish and plastic bags. We'll see you in a while, hopefully. What an incredible wonder of nature to witness in the program. Coming up next week.
I'm in Malaysia, heading deep into the rainforest of Borneo for a special trip across the country's biggest state.
Oh, wow. This is beautiful. Yep. Just daggers jutting out of the forest canopy. If you're on social media, so are we. Just search BBC Travel Show to find our adventures. From myself, Mike Corey, and the rest of the Travel Show team here in Turkey, it's goodbye.